All right, great, man. Thanks for doing this today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah. Now, what made you want to do a covers record of secular covers at this particular point?
Well, it comes down to, and there's a number of reasons. So it's a little bit of a complicated answer, and that is, I'll start with the fact that we wanted to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to have a good time, and go in and loosen up a little bit. We always feel like there's a lot of pressure being in a quote-unquote Christian band often to, be as bold as you can be and stick to scriptures and, do this and do that, and feeling the pressures of things, being told what you have to do and what you can't do. And, not that we're trying to rebel against that. It's just that we wanted to go in and just go in and have fun, and make a record, make music and play, and for the fun of it,
Mm-hmm.
Yet at the same time, we wanted to obviously be true to our faith and appropriate in our song choice, which we feel we were 100%. We went through and picked all the songs that we felt, yeah, we can do this. Lyrically, musically, spiritually. There were some songs that we were discussing that didn't make it because of the fact that they were maybe a little over the top lyrically, right, and questionable. You think Black Sabbath instantly, and people think, oh my God, they can't do a song by Sabbath. Well, Heaven and Hell, you read the lyrics, and I had said this in a few interviews, those are lyrics that Stryper would have written. And line right up, there was one line in there that was questionable, Lead for the Dancer, that we left out. But we did our best to stay true to our faith and our convictions, and we had no problem making the record. And the other side of that is we wanted to break down the walls of all the rules and regulations and the laws that the church often puts upon us. They say you can't have a glass of wine if you're a Christian. You can't have a beer. You can't listen to secular metal. And we're told all these things that we can't do. And the truth of the matter is that's between the individual and God, period. And if you're convicted by doing something, then don't do it. If you don't have an issue with it, having a glass of wine or a beer or listening to metal, then do it. And those are our views. Those are our takes on it. And, we definitely get heat for taking those views. No question about it.
Yeah, I was doing the research for this earlier, and I was aware that there's some divisions even in and among the fan base or whatever, but I didn't realize to what really large extent people debate these things. I mean, there's a lot of really, really crazy stuff written about your band, particularly online.
There is. It's been like that from day one.
Yeah.
Because we're not the norm, man. We don't fit into the CCM crowd, or to the CCM mold, I should say.
Yeah.
And there is a mold for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all kind of molded the same and kind of cookie cutter, hey, we have to say this and we have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like that. We were raised in the world, not in the church. We didn't grow up in churches. We grew up around Christians and around church, but not in the church. And when we gave our hearts to Christ and made a commitment to serve Christ back in, when I was 20 years old, so 27 years ago, we were very serious about that and still are. But yet at the same time, our approach is to, and the way we want to do this is to go out to the world. That's why we don't do churches typically. We don't do Christian festivals typically. We're just not that kind of a band. We're the kind of band that has always tried to go out into the world and reach the masses, go over to Spain and play with Iron Maiden and Dream Theater and Lacuna Coil in front of 20,000 people who don't know Christ.
Right.
That's what we're about.
That's cool, because a lot of that stuff winds up just being entertainment for Christians. I mean,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is, and that's awesome. That's needed. I'm not knocking that. It's great. But I mean, we're serious about winning souls, man, and not that they aren't, but we're very serious about winning souls, and really the only way to do that is to go out into the world and get them.
You must have known going in, obviously, that you'd get the reaction from some of those real fringe conservative elements by doing songs like Breaking the Law or On Fire or, any of those kind of things. Have you had that reaction come at you yet as far as, this is of hell or whatever those people are going to say?
It's just music, man.
Yeah.
It's just music. We're not sinning by singing a song.
Right, of course not.
I mean, it's and that's what it comes down to. Show me the scriptures. If you show me where it says it's a sin and we shouldn't be doing it, hey, we'll stop doing it.
Right, totally.
So that's where we come from. Just show me the scriptures that say it. Not what your pastor made up, in his own mind. But show me what the Word of God says, and we follow the Word of God, and we want to follow the Word of God. We don't want to, go against that. I mean, that wouldn't be good. So we do our best to stay true to the Word, but at the same time, be our own selves and be original, and do and follow through with our calling that God's placed on our lives, which is really different from other people's, and go out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's shocking. It's shocking to a lot of Christians. I remember when we played the Dove Awards for the first time in '85. There's footage of it online, and we're running all over the stage in hair and makeup and yellow and black stripes, and loud screams and guitars and this and that. And honestly, the look of horror in the faces in the crowd, it was really crazy. I mean, the people just looked like they had seen a ghost.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is this? And, I'll never forget this. One of the only people back at that time, Michael W. has always been a sweetheart and a dear friend of ours, very supportive, Smitty. And but one of the other only people at that time that gave us the time of day and came and sat with us and prayed with us and just hung out with us. She was a sweetheart, and that was Sandy Patton, which it really left an impression on me, and what she went through, and the church turned their back on her, not everyone, but a lot of people. She went through so much, judgment and persecution and whatnot for having, a moment of weakness and being a sinner, as we all are.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is her heart, and, I got to see a piece of her heart, and it left such an impression on me and the rest of the band, and she's the real deal,
Yeah. Why do you think that exists? Because I've seen that over and over, that it seems like there's a part of the industry that there's not a lot of forgiveness, although they're espousing a religion that's premised entirely on forgiveness.
I know. I don't know. It's hard to understand. It seems like if you look at the history, from what little I know about it, of the Christian music scene and the church and whatnot, it's like when someone in that genre, in the music scene, the Christian music scene, CCM especially, whoever it may be, if they fall, if they stumble, they're excommunicated.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how it feels. It feels like, they're cut off. And, I never understood that, man. That's when you want to go to them and love them even more. Not necessarily reward them, for their bad actions, but love them and help them through, and just put your arm around them and say, hey, we're here, man. We're not leaving.
Right.
Isn't it? Isn't that the time that you should be doing that?
I would think so. Yeah, that makes sense to me. If you go back to what would Jesus do, of course. You can't show a passage in the Bible where he said, "Get away from me," you right. Screwed up,
exactly.
Get out of here.
Exactly. So it kind of bums me out to see that over the years. Just without going into details and naming names, there's been a lot of things that have happened,
mm-hmm.
That have, obviously, caused controversy and, people's careers or ministries to completely crumble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really sad as on the sidelines witnessing how, not all, but how a number of people in the church or in the Christian music industry or whatever handled the situation. And it's just like, wow, that's not what it's about, man.
Right.
So anyway, that's my spiel. I'm not here on my high horse to say I'm good and they're bad.
Right.
I'm a sinner. I blow it. I judge people. I do all the bad things that we all do. But man, it's like we got to love each other more. We really do.
Yeah, I get you totally. Now, getting back to the covering, what are the most challenging songs on here for you as a singer? Because you're covering a wide array of very different singers on here.
Yeah, the most challenging part was just when you go in to do a cover album, or I'll speak for myself, when I went in to do the covering and sing the songs, for some reason, subconsciously, I felt the need to try to sound like the original singer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's one, or sing similar to, or deliver the phrasing, or whatever it is, similar to how they did. And then once I got past that, and I realized, look, I'm never going to sound like Bruce Dickinson. I'm never going to sound like Ronnie James Dio or Klaus Meine. It just ain't going to happen. And why should I try to? I'm Michael Sweet. Just be Michael Sweet, Pay respect to these guys and sing it my way and do my thing. So once I got past that and started thinking that way, I was able to sing the songs. Mm-hmm. And get them done. And, I spent about a day per song tracking at my house. I did all the vocals myself, and I was able to do it. And, I'm very pleased with how the entire record turned out. I mean, we wanted to stay true to the original arrangement and keep that energy of the song and that special quality of those arrangements, yet at the same time put our own little Stryper spin on it. And that was a difficult thing to do. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
But I think we somehow miraculously accomplished that, which is really cool.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I've always looked. I get. There was a period where a lot of people did covers records, and those of us who review records were like, "Oh my Lord," because so many of them were not that great. Not to be unkind.
I know.
Yeah. And so when one's coming at me, I tend to tense up and think, "Oh man." And so I was very glad that this is actually a very good record.
I hear you, man. I know. And you don't want to talk badly about people.
No, not at all.
Because I know what it's like to go in the studio and you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. You really do.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 months of your life, and you put everything into it, and then when you get bad reviews, it's like, ouch,
Yeah.
But there are, unfortunately, the hit or miss records, and hit and miss records. There are records out there that cover albums where it's like you're just kind of scratching your head thinking, wow, what was they thinking? Why did they do this?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be there and shake them and say, no, don't do this. And they just didn't hit the mark, But we tried our best again to pay respect to these songs that we love and that we grew up on, and that basically musically made us who we are. And at the same time, somehow try to manage to put a little bit of the Stryper flavors into those songs. And I think we pulled it off, And so far, the reviews have been far better than expected. We've gotten some really good reviews, and people seem to really like the record, and that's just a real blessing.
Yeah, that's great.